All right, the first thing we're going to do before anything else is we're going to mkdir a new directory. mkdir, a new directory called Bootcamp. So mkdir a new directory called Bootcamp, just like that. And you should see the new directory appear in your file tree. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see that easier. There you go. So mkdir space the name Bootcamp. And you should have a Bootcamp directory here, but there should be nothing in it. Then we're going to use another command we learned called touch. We're going to touch a file, but we want it to be inside the Bootcamp directory. So let me show you a little shortcut. You touch bootcamp / index.html. And that will make a new file inside your Bootcamp directory. So hit enter. And you should see your file index.html now appear inside your Bootcamp directory in your file tree. And if you close the Bootcamp directory, you see that the index.html file is inside there. You should be able to do this, so test out to make sure it works by doing this a couple times. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my index.html file by double-clicking on it. That should open it up in my text editor right here, and I'm actually going to just start typing out some HTML. I am going to create an H1 because we're going to make this page called Silly Animals. Then below that, I'm going to make an H3, and we're going to say, here's a collection of animals. Now you'll notice that when you type out tags in the HTML5 workspace in Cloud9, it auto-completes the closing tag for you, which is super, super nice. Below that, I'm going to create a paragraph tag. And you see how it auto-completes the paragraph right there? That's really useful, and it just makes my life a lot easier so I don't have to keep typing out silly things I don't want to type out anymore. So below that, I'm going to say, on the internet, there are a ton of silly animals, and they deserve to be shown on my webpage. You can type out whatever you want, but I'm just going to show you you can do this. Now, because I want you to be able to see everything that I'm typing, after the of, I'm going to hit enter. So that the line from line 4, everything on line 4 is actually split onto line 5, and I'm going to do the same thing after the word shown, so everything is split onto line 6. Now, this doesn't actually change the structure of your HTML page at all. You can take this paragraph tag and write everything inside here. It can cover 4 lines, 5 lines, 6 lines, but on your actual page, it's not going to appear any different. How can I prove this? Well, I'm going to click on this preview button right here, and I'm going to live preview my file, the index.html file. So all you need to do is come up to the preview button, select preview, and click live preview file. When you do that, you should see your file right here being previewed. Now, we don't see any text here yet, so I'm going to go ahead and save this file. And we notice that it's not saved because we have that little circle around the X. So if I click File Save or press Control S or Command S on Macs and refresh this page, I should see, boom, there's my HTML page. So I'm going to stop for a second. Actually, first, before I do that, I'm going to get rid of the file tree by pulling this little section right here in front of the file trees, just so I can have as much of the page displaying as possible. And then I'm going to come here, make this a little smaller, just like that. And now I'm going to stop for a second to make sure everyone's got what we need. Now, the cool thing about Cloud9 is if you put your cursor, if you put on any of these different elements, it'll actually show you which element you're selecting here. The paragraph, the H1, you can see that this is all of the P element, the paragraph element on my HTML page. Now below that, I'm going to add another tag that we might have seen before. This is the UL tag. Does anyone remember what the UL tag does? That's right, it creates an unordered list. Inside the unordered list, we have more tags. How do we create an item in our list? What tag do we use? The LI. What does LI stand for? List item. That's exactly right. And in here, I'm going to have a collection of a few animals that I like. Owls, an owl with human arms, and a shark with human teeth. Two of my favorite animals in the world. Right now I only have two, and then I'm going to have another one that just say to be decided, or to be determined. And we'll figure out whatever animal we want to put there later. Now, if I save this file and I refresh my preview, I should see a little list appear here. Now, this is a UL. Does anyone know what UL stands for? Unordered list, that's right. What if I change this to OL? What will happen? That's exactly right. It'll become an ordered list. What changes in an ordered list? Let's find out. I'm going to save. Now I'm going to refresh this right here. And now we see that our unordered list with just bullet points has become an ordered list indicated with numbers. 1, 2, 3. And this looks kind of cool. Now we can determine in what order we want our animals to appear. But if I want to show these animals on my page, I have to use a different HTML tag. What HTML tag do I need to show to get an image of animals to appear? That's right, the IMG tag. Just like this, the IMG tag. And the IMG tag is actually self-closing. So we put the slash at the end of it right there. Now, if I want to get an image in here, I need to tell it what image to put. How do I do that inside my image tag? That's right. I use an SRC attribute, a source attribute. SRC equals, and then double quotations just like that. Now, I'm going to have at least 2 images in here, so I'm going to make 2 of these. But you'll notice when I save this and refresh the page, nothing changes on my page yet, huh? Why do you think? That's right. I haven't told it where to find the image, what image to find, and I do that by using the source attribute. Now these 2 IMG tags I've created, they're both HTML elements. And I think it's really important to get a little high-level overview of what an HTML element is. So I'm going to pull up this little CodePen page I have right here, and I'm going to just give you a cool little interactive example of what each of the anatomy of an HTML element, the components of an HTML element mean. So if I scroll over this first tag right here, this first tab, the element tab, the entire HTML element lights up. That's because this whole thing, this entire thing right here, we call an HTML element. Now inside the element, if I scroll over the second tab, I see that it's called opening tag. This opening tag right here is surrounded by a less than sign and a greater than sign, and then right after the less than sign, we have the name of the tag. What name is this one? P. That's right, the paragraph tag. And then inside there, I have another little thing that I'm going to go over in a second. The closing tag, if I scroll over the third tab here, it looks like this. The closing tab is also surrounded by less than a sign and a greater than sign, but I also have a slash in here to indicate that it's closing. Now, I'm going to actually go to the 5th tab really quickly. This is the attribute. We call this an attribute of our HTML element. And in here, what attribute do I have highlighted? That's right, the class attribute. The class attribute is a good way to do styling, which we're going to talk about a little bit in a second. But we can put all kinds of attributes inside an HTML element, and we'll see that more and more as we advance throughout this bootcamp. Now, this 4th tab right here is going to be called content, and that's actually what is displayed on the web page. So this is what an entire HTML element is made up of: the element itself, the opening tag, the closing tag, the content, and occasionally we have attributes. Now, you don't need attributes in everything, but some of them absolutely do need them. And in fact, if we go back to our HTML page, right here we have an image tag with what kind of attribute? The source. The image tag has to have a source attribute, otherwise it will not work. Now, to complete this, I'm going to go to Google, and I'm going to type in birds with human arms. And then I'm going to go look at the images, and I'm going to find an owl. Let's find a good owl in here. There it is. Beautiful. An owl with human arms. That's an angry looking owl. I'm going to click on view image and then select the entire link. Now it's important that you click view image because that'll give you the URL to just the image itself. And if we take this URL, this link, and I copy it and I come back into my Cloud9 IDE and I paste it inside the source attribute and save this, once I refresh the page, I should see a picture down here, and boom, there it is. Now I have my image of an owl with human arms on my page. The next one, though, let's do the same thing right now. I want everyone right now to go get a picture of shark with human teeth. So I'm going to go back to Google. I'm going to replace this with sharks with human teeth. And when I do that, I see some really good ones. Depending on what mood you're in, I'm going to go with this guy. Yeah, let's go with this guy right here. This is perfect. I'm going to click on View Image and grab this image and paste it into my source attribute for my second image tag. If I save this and refresh the page and scroll down, you'll notice that my sharks with human teeth is here. And I'm actually going to click the expand button to pop it into a new window just so I can see what my full web page looks like. Here we go. Silly animals. Here's a collection of animals. And we have a bird with human arms and a shark with human teeth. This looks lovely. Let's start to style this page and make it look a little nicer in the next video.